Hey, it's Greg on here with MaritimeGardening.com, and I thought I would do an episode here where I try to put to rest questions about store-bought garlic versus seed garlic and that sort of thing. So I'm doing an experiment here. It's the fall, it's 2017, and I've got 3 kinds of garlic here I'm going to plant in a garden I've got prepared here. So what do I got? I got super cheap Chinese garlic. This pack here was basically $1.25 or something like that for 3. That's really cheap, and it's incredibly cheap. Then I've got 3 of these grocery store jumbo garlic, which look phenomenal. And they're local, they're Canadian. I live in Canada. These are Canadian garlic. Sorry, I got 4 of these. Now I've got Garden Center, top quality, top dollar seed garlic. These are like $2 each. So these are, I think 4 of these were $10. 4 for 10 bucks. So $2.50 each for these. These 4 garlic cost $8, so about $2 each, and these 3 garlic cost $1.25. So I'm going to plant all of them, and we'll see which ones come up next year and which ones can tolerate the climate here and all that sort of stuff. There's a risk because you never know if the garlic carry white rot. Based on everything I've read about Chinese garlic, they're treated with everything you can imagine, all kinds of different chemicals. Maybe I'll list them in the show notes or something like that, or in the description. But these are treated with everything under the sun, so I'm certain these are sterile. The concern is, are they so sterile they won't grow? That's the question. And also, can they tolerate the climate here? I'm in Zone 6. This is Nova Scotia, Canada. Can they tolerate my climate? But they're so cheap, it's worth the risk. But I'm very confident that they're safe because they're bleached, they're treated with all these different chemicals, blah 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 blah. I've read that they're irradiated, etc., etc. So we'll see. But I know that in the years past when I've bought these and left them in the fridge and different things like that, they have sprouted. So we'll see. These are music garlic, and they're from a garden center locally here. I know they will perform. And these I have no clue, but they're big and they're beautiful, so it's worth the risk, worth trying. So let's go over and plant these things and see what happens.
Hey there, I had to switch to voiceover. That clicking, I swear to God, I promise I will never use that camera again. It's got this clicking noise in it that just is really distracting. And in this segment of the video, the wind was, just sounded like I was standing, you know, on the top of a mountain somewhere. You couldn't hear me. So anyway, no problem. Do a voiceover here, and I've sped this up to about 250% normal speed just to get through it. Anyway, I'm starting here with the Chinese garlic and just spacing them out. That's how I plant garlic. I space everything out. I'm putting everything about a hand span apart. The rows are a hand span apart, and the garlic are a hand span apart. I find that's good spacing for garlic. It seems to work in the soil I have. Seems to work just fine. So one thing I wanted to talk about was just the issue of using Chinese garlic, because people say, well, that garlic isn't organic and blah, 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 blah. Here's my opinion on the matter. It's organic if it was grown in under organic conditions. And regardless of where those garlic came from, and I don't even know if they're going to grow, but regardless of the conditions those garlic were grown in, these garlic are growing in organic conditions. The bed I'm planting them in right now is basically just horse manure and soil, existing soil and horse manure. It's an organic garden. So, you know, the sins of the father are not the sins of his son. That kind of goes for my opinion on seeds too. I don't really care if my seeds are organic seeds, because if it grows in my garden, it's going to be an organic plant. I don't really understand the logic or reasoning behind any of that. So yeah, if these survive and they actually grow, whatever variety, I don't know what variety, that I think it's called white garlic or something like that. Anyway, they're going to be organic. So I'm putting a stake in there just to mark where the Chinese garlic stopped. And now I'm putting in the grocery store. I think they were called jumbo garlic, but they were grown somewhere in Canada. I don't know exactly where. That's what, at least that's what it said on the packaging at the grocery store. So I just put a marker there to delineate where those ones went in, and then I'll plant the other ones. This garden is built outside my regular fenced-in garden enclosure because I'm pretty sure nothing is going to eat the garlic. I have wild animals on my property. I've talked about this in lots of my videos: deer, porcupines, rabbits. But I'm pretty sure they'll leave garlic and onions and things like that alone. So there's certain things I can plant out here, and why not use this space? So I expanded my garden this year and added these, I think, 5 new beds. 4 or 5 new beds. The initial bed here, I just threw some manure down and put potatoes in it and put hay, and it actually grew fairly well. But I found that the weeds migrated in through the sides, and hell, I just like giving things borders. So some rotten trees that I found my neighbors gave me. So I just scuffed up the ground a bit. I pegged those logs in place, and then took a pickaxe to the ground and broke up the whatever sod was there, and then I just dumped a pile of horse manure in there. That's all I did. And for things like this, especially things like garlic, and this is the fall, so I mean, I'm not going to be eating out of this till I'm not going to be picking these till I don't know, late July. I'll harvest the scapes and all that sort of stuff in June, but June, July. But yeah, I'm not going to be harvesting the garlic till next year, well into next year. So it'll all be composted and broke down. I'll also cover this with a good solid layer of hay to hold the heat in and encourage all of that manure and organic matter. I mean, manure is mostly just grass, and the horses digest very little of what they eat. So there's an incredible amount of organic matter in horse manure, and of course when it comes out of the horse, it has everything with it to encourage it to break down. So it's a great way to get a quick garden with relatively healthy, productive soil. It draws the worm, all those living things that tend to improve soils are drawn to the horse manure. So the easiest way to get a good garden started is to just dump a bunch of horse manure somewhere. So that's what I did. So now I'm planting the garlic, and I don't know if you can tell from the camera here, but planting depth for garlic, at least what I do, I've read all kinds of different things. I always plant them a good 3 inches deep. My soil is very loose. I never have to use a tool to dig them out. I just pull them out and they come out. So it's, as you can see there, it's fairly quick process to get the garlic in the ground and get them planted and all of that. It's really not that big a deal. I couldn't suggest an easier thing to plant than garlic. I'm sticking all these in the ground now. It's mid-November, and next, I can't speak to the Chinese garlic, whether they're viable or whether they can handle hardy enough to handle the climate here. But all the other garlic in my garden, you just stick them in the ground and don't do anything until next year. So here I am, just putting a good heavy mulch over them. I don't know if I'm piling this 6 inches, almost you pile it about, if it's hay, you can go about a foot deep, and it'll just compress down with the rain and snow like that. And by next May, that foot high of hay will be like 2 or 3 inches. A lot of it will break down. I mean, the hay is literally feeding the soil, feeding the organisms in the soil. And the garlic will have no problem whatsoever finding their way through that. Don't worry about that. It's kind of neat because the grass seeds and things like that don't find their way through it if you keep it heavy, but the garlic will. So it's such an easy, no maintenance garden. You don't water this. I don't do anything. Literally what you're seeing in this video is all I'm gonna do. That's it. You know, next year there'll be garlic there. If those garlic are all viable and they can survive the winter and all that sort of stuff, the experiment works, the garlic will be there. Anyway, I hope that was helpful. I hope this helps you get started with garlic if you've never tried it before. Until next time, get out there, get at it, and have fun in your garden. Thanks for watching.